What's happening, folks? Happy Tuesday night to you. We are back live here with the TPO Doc Talk podcast on the Heroes Media Group podcast network. How the heck is everybody? I'm back stateside. I'm on the right side of the pond now. I'm glad to be home for sure. Yeah, man, glad to have the Doc Talk fire back up. I hope you enjoyed that little recap video we did last week. That was kind of going down memory lane there a little bit. It's kind of a preemptive look. We're going to be making an announcement tonight. Before we pay the bills here, I wanted to go ahead and just let this be known. The Doc Talk in the format that you see will be coming to a close in a few more episodes. We believe that we have run its course. We've been going for we've got 5 seasons underneath our belts, couple hundred episodes that we've done, and we've had an amazing time. The True Patriot Outfitters needs to look at efficacy. It's a major thing we've been looking at quite a bit as far as what we put in compared to what we get out. How does this help us with the mission? And so what we've been doing is talking to a lot of smarter people behind the scenes. A lot of smarter. Yeah, that's my sentence forming. And as you can see, I just set the bar pretty low right there. We've been talking to some really smart, gooder than me at stuff people, and we've come up with kind of a new idea that we're going to be rolling out. You can't get rid of me that easy. We'll be firing up a new podcast that'll be coming out. One a little more raw, a little less filtered, a little more talking about topics and touching on things that matter to our warfighting community families out there. And we're also going to focus a little bit more on entertainment. What we're going to be looking for, to be quite honest with you, is to gather more interaction and create a little bit more buzz. And so that's really what we're going to be doing with this. We know we've been on to something. This has been an amazing ride at the Doc Talk here when it started off as the True Patriot Outfitters podcast long ago. And so we're still going to talk fishing. We'll still talk that, but we're also going to talk other sports. We're going to talk current events. We'll talk politics. We're going to talk anything that matters to the warfighting communities out there, the families that matter to them. And so we're going to have all kinds of special podcast hosts that are going to be coming on, special guests that we'll have. Each show will have a little different sections, so we won't sit too long on any one topic there. We'll touch on quite a few things. And hopefully it'll be something that works out the way we've thought it out. So a few more episodes to go, and then hopefully by May we'll be firing off this new deal here. So anyway, that's a little, that was one of the reasons we went down memory lane there with that last video as well. All right, let's pay the bills real quick. As always, every one of the Doc Talk podcasts brought to you by the Romans Warrior Foundation. Hashtag helping is healing. Go check them out at romanswarriorfoundation.org. Check out all the great divisions there that they have, all the different and alternative ways we have of healing, bringing to our brothers and sisters around the U.S. here. Based out of Alabama, operating all the way from New York to California, with, of course, the Global War on Terror's Wall of Remembrance. That's the big division there. This is the only mobile monument dedicated to the entire GWAT era, 83 all the way through. It is a fantastic memorial that we travel around. If you got a big event going on in your neck of the woods, anywhere out there, and you want to take it to the next level, reach out to the Romans Warrior Foundation, give them a talk, see about getting a wall in there. Great way to bring some healing to your community. As always, Heroes Media Group, Adam Bird, that entire team, all the great podcasts that are on that network there. We are absolutely proud to be a part of those guys. Now, if you're feeling really cool and you want to look cool to your friends, make them jealous, go check out the store at the TPO merch store. You can get yourself a hat, cool hat like what I'm wearing right now. Oh, yeah, we got those. Got another version of it there, and also we got T-shirts, got calendars out there, got reelers, shields, some good, completely all-natural, no-chemical garbage sunscreen. See, the sun we have here in Colorado tries to kill you, so we have to take creative ways on how to protect ourselves, and that is that reeler shield. I keep it in my PFD when I'm out in the yak, and it is awesome stuff. So go check out the TPO merch store. All proceeds that come from any sales there go right to the programs here at the TPO. Keep us operational, keep things moving. All right, bills are paid. we got this thing all wrapped up here. Super cool, super excited to have this guest with us here. This is her first time on the show with us here. And of course, have known this angler just from the fact that she's been a major part of the Colorado angling community. So when you start getting involved in different Facebook groups, this and that, you see the post, you see the fish that she's putting up on the board. And then, of course, the Colorado Kayak Fishing Club is the largest club in the state and the longest running club in the state. And she has been a part of that. That's where I first saw who she was out there. I've never had the privilege of donating money to her in a tournament yet, but I'm sure that time will come soon enough that I'll help buy a new rod and reel for her, I'm sure, with my entry monies. But also, when I found out, she is a fellow team member of mine at Eagle Claw Fishing. So I was like, this makes total sense. She was going to join us for that all Eagle Claw deal, but she had prior engagement. She couldn't make that one there. So I promised we would get her on the show. Let's go ahead and bring her in here as soon as I select the right layout. Yes, I think that's it. Let's bring in Miss Lindsay Martin. Lindsay, what's happening?
Not much. How are you tonight, Gene?
I'm peachy. I'm a little bruised up a little bit, but, you know, I got a scratched up weenus. That's about it.
Ooh.
That was from that fall I took being a dope.
Oh, good old home security.
And right. As soon as I'm sitting there picking up all the sockets, I'm like, I might as well get some mileage out of this. Yeah, nothing broke, you know. And you must have worked on Chevrolets before. Have you turned a wrench or two on Chevrolets? Because the moment you said 10 millimeter socket, I'm like, it's the most needed socket of all.
It is the most needed. No, I was grew up in a Ford family, and then I married into a Dodge, and I drive a Toyota, so. And
they use 10 millimeter too, I take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I outsource that. You know, I know how to check the oil and change a tire. So
nice.
Everything else, I'll support a local business.
There you go. I feel that. Yeah. No, I amazing enough, every one of the sockets in that, 2,000 piece set that I had there went flying, and I was able to get them all. And it gave me a lot of good time to think about what was hurting while I was sitting around gathering that stuff. You don't bounce the older you get.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. Yeah. So talk to me here. Eagle Claw Fishing. What brought you to get into the clutches of the Ali himself to Eagle Claw? How did that transpire?
He reached out to me asking if I wanted to represent that great brand, and I was beyond honored. I mean, that's like one of the brands you grow up always seeing. The Snell hooks package of hooks and weights, sinkers. So that was always a brand known to me. So when he reached out, I was honored and couldn't turn that opportunity down.
I felt the same way. That was, it's like, this has been something just, every angler, I think, if you're in that game out there long enough, you kind of, a legacy company like Eagle Claw, Wright and McGill, especially to do it the way they do it, it's like, man.
And even better that it's a Colorado company too, so you gotta give more kudos to that. America and Colorado.
I love Eric's statement. There's American-made hooks, and then there's dog crap. Pretty much that's how we classify them. Good stuff here. So we've got. All right, hang on a sec. What else when you said yes. So Collins is joining in with us here, and he thought I meant somewhere else when I said weenus. No, you can tell I have kids that grew up in the early 2000s. They introduced me to this term. That's what your elbows are, Matt. Mm-hmm. His is still kind of young right now. I don't know if she's embraced that. I don't know if that new generation has got that term down. We'll get you cool, Matt. Don't worry. I'll get you all the good
lingo.
Lingo out there. So Eagle Claw. Now, have you always been around fishing pretty much your whole life? Is it something you grew up with there? Because
always remember going with my grandparents and family camping. Nice. Always bobber with a worm.
The gateway drug.
Yeah, grew up like catfish, bullhead catfish in a prairie pond type thing. Nice. And then I actually worked at the reservoir, Lake Pueblo State Park, and I got introduced to a gentleman. I believe Matt actually met him over the winter, Mr. Steven Rogers, and I worked with him, and he taught me that I needed to, change the line on my reel. Like he taught me a little bit more about fishing and introduced
Nice.
me to a tube jig, and then from there, I met my husband, Dennis, and he introduced me to a jerk bait and even more like moving around when you're fishing and like
Yeah.
if you haven't caught anything, hadn't had a bite in 5 minutes, like move on. So that really brought in my world into he created this animal that I am now. So that's his own fault. I blame him. But he
That's
also
awesome.
helps fund a lot of my fishing habits too. So thank you.
Heck yeah. So Colin said Mr. Rogers is the nicest guy in the world and ask about Lindsay every time he sees him at the boat
Yes.
ramp. That's awesome.
I
So
mean, if you
cool.
want to score more brownie points with him, bring him a Pike's Place roast from Starbucks. And man,
I
he's
j-
off season now. I know his season's over, but come winter time, he'll be there.
I just switched over to that roast. I had it when I went down to Texas there, and I would come back. I was like, "Honey, you got to try this here." Yeah, that's a great coffee. Good to know. Good to
That's
know.
funny.
Wintertime, I'll have to send down a bag or two down there.
There you go.
So that's awesome stuff, and it truly is. With the great people you meet in the sport of fishing is, I still think one of the most amazing deals. It immediately connects you because you have that common bond, but then there's some people that get the bug, and you clearly had it already built in. So as you
Mhm.
saw more, it just builds and it builds, and then the hunt just goes further and further. So that is a jerk bait. That is one of the most fun ways to, and I think, just to catch fish, because
Yeah.
you can cover a lot of water that way.
Yeah. And just that, I don't know, that wall or even bass. I'm more of like that walleye angler and that
Yeah,
night fishing, that hard smack on the jerk bait. I mean, that's nice.
they
The
try to
tug is
rip
the
the
drug.
rod yeah, they try to rip the rod out of your hand. That's
Yeah.
always fun. Yeah, all walleye that I have ever caught has always been on accident. I've been looking for bass and I catch walleye.
Yeah.
People ask me, how do you catch them? Fish for bass. That's what I do. So that's now. Did you start off in the boat world and then move over to kayak, or was kind of your first introduction to getting out on the water in the kayak itself?
It was in the kayak itself. I had a friend who had a kayak and she let me borrow it for a summer. And after that, she got divorced. He took the kayak. And
Ah,
so then my husband, he bought me my first kayak for Christmas. And it was like a
nice.
Bass Pro sit inside fishing edition with the rod holder. And I entered my first Colorado Kayak Fishing Club tournament, and I saw somebody in a pedal kayak, and I was just fighting the wind the whole time. I'm like, oh, I want that. And then, but during that time, we did have a boat too, so I am familiar with the boat world and working on the boat ramp. So,
Yeah.
I know that essence and the drain plug. You got to make sure your plug's in.
Right, right. Number one rule.
Essentials, I guess. Yeah.
Fastest way back to the ramp, don't put one in.
There's always two runs on the ramp. You have to go to the bathroom or you forgot your drain plug.
Love it. And that's, with the waters that we have here in Colorado, the kayak to me is just the perfect
Oh
vessel,
yeah.
just because our waters are just not that big. When I was back in the boat days, I was making runs to Tennessee, to Missouri, and these are 30-mile runs that you can make and fish 30 miles of a lake, a lake pattern. Where in Colorado, even in a kayak, give me 30 minutes and I can get end to end, in most cases I don't have pedal, I have motors.
Yeah.
But, it's like you can make a run and get to where you want to be, right? So to me, I think the kayak is kind of just the perfect machine out here.
Yeah, I agree. I have a good respect for water, I guess. I don't know. Blue Mesa is huge to me still.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to put a kayak out there. But after I've been to Missouri and fished some of those lakes on a kayak, I'm like, yeah, Colorado has nothing.
No, our reservoirs are pretty small for sure.
Yeah, Lake Peck in Montana. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. No, that's awesome stuff. So
Fort Peck.
and if you're like me, the eagle claw thing, I mean, it goes back to your childhood. I mean, you remember the snells, you remember the bobbers, you remember that stuff, and it's one of the things that they were like intricate in leading and taking you further in, and you didn't even know it back then. I mean, we had no clue.
Yeah, no clue. I mean, it's affordable, it's accessible to everybody, which is awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
just in my work now is trying to get, everybody access to the outdoors. And when you have brands like Eagle Claw who make it, affordable for everybody to, do something like fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well,
a lot bigger in the
right?
grand scheme of things.
Exactly. It goes a lot further than just the awesome hooks, and that's the thing when you have the quality that goes behind it. When you start talking tournament fishing, time is money, and you can't afford the slightest mistake, because to fish against, especially the people we fish against out here, you got to have a perfect day, right? I mean, in order to get that shield, to get that that money, that check, you can't afford silly mistakes, and so you got to have good gear that does that. That's also Eagle Claw comes in there in a major way.
Reliable. Yeah.
Good stuff. So tournament fishing. So you got in tournament fishing first paddling, then you moved into obviously a pedal kayak of some kind. And so have you always been like having a competitive spirit in there, or was tournament fishing just something that grabbed you?
I would have to say I'm kind of competitive.
Nice.
I would blame that on where I grew up. Small town, sports were everything. I mean, I wasn't good. I wasn't like the best athlete, but just, being on the team and have that instilled. I mean, where I grew up, sports, they were good, the teams, but not I. But I mean, I'm still
part of that team.
Competitive. Yeah, I play on a kickball league still.
Nice.
Now that's tomorrow. If you guys are in Pueblo, come City Park and watch me try to kick a ball.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I guess I'm a little competitive, whether I like to say it or not.
Now, are you a Colorado native? Did you grow up here? Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So you've kind of had a familiarity with the landscape, the waters, and so forth. Did you, and has it always been down south, or did you venture up north?
Always down south, I guess. As far as growing up, we'd go to John Martin, Lathrop, Blue Mesa.
Nice.
Never Trinidad. And even Pueblo. I never really went to Pueblo Reservoir until I started working out there.
Oh, so wow.
It's kind of crazy. The Arkansas River, I was always like river fishing or something like that. So
nice.
Yeah.
So would you say the multi-species is definitely more your comfort zone, or have you moved into the bass addiction like the rest of us?
I'm more multi-species. I can't claim one species and I'm like, I'm just purely a bass angler. I'm purely walleye. I mean, I love pike. I love fishing for pike, the toothy critters, walleye. I guess I just, go with the seasons or whatever's best. Not best, but like whatever's hitting at the time. Like right now, springtime, bass and walleye. Wait a little bit, then you wait for some pike, then some walleye and bass. But I feel like bass you can catch almost anytime.
Yep.
They're like almost trout.
Almost, except better.
Might offend some people. Sorry.
Right. Yes, indeed, and Colin says she's purely kicking our butts everywhere we go out there. So we were talking off air. How long have you been involved with the CKFC? As a member,
I think 2018 maybe was my first. Because I want to say 2018.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you've kind of seen the evolution of the club, from its initial roots as it grows into now the the biggest club in the state now.
Yeah, unknowingly. Yeah.
For sure.
It's really cool just to see it and what they stand for, giving back to a nonprofit at the end of each season, everything that they,
Huge.
generate. Yeah, that's cool. Giving back twice in some ways, giving people a way to compete, and then giving back to the nonprofit with what they raise.
I've said it time and time again, that first year for us in operation, that CKFC donation that came in for us, that was a lifesaver. It truly was. For the True Patriot Outfitters, my wife and I had, it was our check that was going into this thing to keep it alive and keep it afloat. And that donation that came from the anglers and the entire club, that was a massive, massive boost for us. And it allowed us to get into that second year, and kind of hit the ground running. And so, it's that's a super cool thing when clubs and nonprofits are taking care of each other like that.
Mm-hmm.
Always a good deal. So now you decided, you know what? I got so much free time that now you're on the board now for the CKFC.
Yeah. First year as a sponsor manager. So nice. Just trying to get out, get the prizes, people donate, give money to buy cool prizes.
Yeah.
It's been interesting.
Well, and it's a cool thing that the bar was set so low by the guy before you that
oh man, that guy.
And for those of you who don't know, that's Scott Brands. He's also a member of the TPO Pro team as well. So of course I got to give Scott crap.
Yeah.
And especially on behalf of Eric, I've got to give Scott crap out there. Those two have such a lovely little bromance that goes on. No, that's a super cool position that you get a chance to see everybody that's supporting the CKFC to make all these things, happen and go there. But really at the end of the day, it's that membership drive, right? That comes from the people that pay their membership, whether they fish a tournament or not, just to be a member each year, to go through that. That's a huge, huge help for the CKFC to do what it does with the nonprofits.
Yeah.
In a major way.
Yeah. So. This year we chose the boys and girls. Big Brother and Big Sister of Colorado.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, and wasn't it Johnny that was the founder? The godfather.
Yes.
Of the thing, and he was involved in not the Boys and Girls Club, but what was it? Or it was the Boys. Yeah.
I know.
Trying to keep them all straight, right? But so he was involved. That was what really kind of motivated and started the whole thing. So each year you guys choose a different one just through committee and voting. That's super cool. So this year is Big Brothers Big Sisters group.
Yep, of Colorado.
So it's the one that covers the whole state. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What do you know much about them as far as any details on their operations? I don't.
No, I apologize.
Okay. No, it's fine. I wouldn't expect that. That's a lot of extra stuff to throw.
I know a lot of random things, but that is not one of them.
Right. All right. So PB out of Pueblo for trout. What are we talking here?
Ooh.
Are there multiple species of trout in that water? Mainly just rainbow.
Unless you go below the reservoir, and if you're talking the Arkansas River, it's like a crock pot. It's everything.
Right.
But yeah, mostly rainbow.
Gotcha.
That I know of.
And walleye has been your main target there. You really enjoy the walleye stuff.
But there's great smallmouth in there too, and wiper. Got to get the wiper in the springtime around Mother's Day.
I was gonna say during practice for one of the deals leading up, I hit my PB wiper at almost 11 pounds.
Yeah.
Way to the west, way up top there. I was fishing a point. I had seen a couple things on my live scope, and so I was just trying to figure out what it was. So I was rigging up for a little bit of a drop shot. I wanted to go see, random bite. Just wanted to see what it was I was looking at. And I heard something behind me, and I thought it was like somebody threw a rock in the water. I'm like, what the hell? And I'm facing this point. I turn around, a wiper boil had started.
Right.
And so the wipers start going. I immediately throw my drop shot down. I grab the jerkbait rod up there, and I started to fish my way into this little cove, following this pack of wiper in there. And I caught the biggest. Each one got bigger and bigger. It was like 18 to start, then a 19, then a 20, then a 23, and a 24. The 11, 10.94 is what it weighed, because a walleye boat was watching me do this damage. And when they saw that last one come in, they're like, "My God, man, how it broke my net when I was trying to get it in." And they said, "How much does that weigh?" I'm like, "I have no idea. I don't have a scale with me." And he's like, "Come here, I got a scale." I'm like, "Okay." So I kept him in the net, went over there, and that's how we know. But yeah, you're right. The wiper, those things are just, you have to fish for them when you see that boil start, man, because they're going crazy at that point, right?
Yeah. It's always a good time. That's how my husband suckered me into first date. He's like, "Hey, you want to go wiper fishing at the reservoir?" And I never have, so I was like, "Okay, let's do that."
First date.
Yep. I did not catch a wiper.
No, you caught a husband.
Yeah, I caught a flatback catfish too.
Good stuff. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
You still got to keep her out of it. Right?
I did.
Good stuff. So the whole transition from the fishing side and in Eagle Claw and so forth, your normal job, you work for Colorado Parks and Rec. So you're, again, involved in the community. Is that who it is?
Pueblo Parks and Recreation.
Pueblo. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Perfect.
Just a little smaller.
Yeah, right. Just slightly, but still. That's you guys. That's like the premier reservoir down there in the entire state, in my opinion.
Well, let me. Sorry, that's where people get us confused. So we're just city. But I did used to work for the reservoir too, back before I got my position now with the city. But the city of Pueblo, they don't have any cool ponds. They're more like kid ponds, but there's the Arkansas River goes straight through the city, and there's like over 80 parks, and I can go on and on about random stuff about local parks, but there's a lot of history there.
And so your job there is to get people outdoors, yes?
Yeah, I am the outdoor recreation administrator.
So cool.
It's a mouthful. It looks cool on the business card, though. Right.
Good alphabet soup.
Yeah. So just doing programming, planning a big festival at the end of July. Just all things outdoor rec.
And that is how, because you got me connected with the TPO, you got me connected with Mount Carmel.
Yeah.
Through that connection, which was huge, because Mount Carmel, I'll save just from going into a long story about it, but I had known about Mount Carmel down there, and it's like, look, this is an organization I really need to plug in with a little bit further, especially as recreational therapy continues to gain more and more momentum. Obviously, I do work also with Heroes on the Water, and we work directly with the Denver VA with recreational therapy, and they actually have dedicated grants for that stuff. So it's catching on. People are starting to realize that, hey, man, there's an alternative out there. You don't have to do a bag of opioids.
Yeah, how it makes us feel when we're out in the water makes everybody else feel too. So let's make everybody feel that warm, fuzzy feeling inside. Yeah.
Well, you'll agree. Obviously, you could speak to this better than even I can. We're creatures, no matter what your faith system is, we're creatures of Mother Nature at the end of the day. So the more you connect with it and get away from the man-made stuff, the more you're getting back to your roots, the more grounded you're going to get, and the easier things start to, voices and clutter starts to shut down, and this becomes a lot cleaner inside. I think it's what gets all of us, into that love, whether you're born into it or you get introduced to it.
Yeah.
So, what a dream job to be able to get people outdoors.
Yeah. Yeah. There's more politics than I expected, but that comes with the job, I guess.
I was going to say, when you get an email that's got gov or city or something like that at the end of it.
.us,
.us. Yep. That just happens with it. I played in a different world of that, but I was in government IT.
Ugh.
And yeah, that forced me. Now I have a nonprofit organization.
Yeah.
I ran away. So that's awesome stuff. So you get people out with the city of Pueblo there, and clearly, I mean, like you said though, you're with the city of Pueblo, but how much interaction do you ever get crossover with any of the other, the big park and such?
Oh yeah. They're a partner with the big, because it's like a river festival I'm planning in July. So they're part of the river is in state park land. Because we're gonna do a build your own boat race. So
Nice,
yeah, get your boat together.
right?
So they're a partner. I interact with them quite a bit.
It's cool.
They're easy to work with. I know it's not always that
Yeah.
way as far as pulling permits for organizations to hold stuff, but
I promise to be nice, and I'm going to be nice. We
yeah,
won't even talk
yeah,
about that
it's
part tonight. That's cool to see that
yeah,
intergovernmental agency, working together. That's
hmm
huge. Hey,
yeah,
we got joining us here one half of the Ollie's. I've been waiting on the big guy to jump in there because I know he's going to once he gets settled, he's either out fishing or he's still at
yeah.
Eagle Claw planning world domination.
It was pretty gorgeous out there. I don't know what it is up north, but down here I was like, oh man, I gotta go inside now. Dang.
Right? You came in here to sit on a podcast.
Oh, one of those good ideas at the time, though.
Right, right. No, that's don't worry, because then when you're ready to go fishing, it'll be blowing again, and
Yeah.
Colorado will play Colorado. So,
Oh,
so as weather goes, you're a native of Colorado. Um, what are your feelings as far as like last year? I freaking loved it. All that rain. Oh my gosh, we had green Colorado for a while. This year it doesn't look. I mean, it seems like the mountains have gotten hit pretty well with some snow. I guess I haven't looked at their snow caps and all that,
yeah. I
but
feel like snowpack is good, at least average, not like below average. Um, yeah, I haven't really. That's bad. I haven't heard either.
yeah, it hasn't been really talked
Yeah,
about that much,
no news is good news.
right? Well, I know they lifted the drought stuff last year, right? That was the first time in like 4 or 5 years we had
Yeah.
been out of drought. We got enough water. But with you guys dealing with the Arkansas, is it kind of at a normal? I mean, has it really started to go yet, or is that flow really coming?
It's not super fast yet. That's usually like that first week of June. They are letting more water out of the reservoir now. It's after the March 15th storing time, and so they are definitely letting more water out, which is bummer because I am further downstream as far as where I live, and I usually fish out east in the winter. So now I've like got to step back and go hit the reservoir more, take my kayak out, freeze my butt off in the mornings.
Right.
Yeah.
So they held a lot of water in that thing this winter. That was super high. I don't now, mind you, I've just been reintroduced back to Colorado as of 21. I was gone for like 10 years. But I don't recall Pueblo ever being that high in the off months like that. What was the deal there?
Colorado Springs.
Mm,
They put in the SDS system, and it's basically water up to springs and then further north. So they're storing more to ship further.
gotcha.
Yeah.
People outside of our state don't realize just how valuable water is out here,
hmm
man.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I don't buy Nestle products anymore. After seeing what they did there, what they're still doing to that little town up there,
Right.
it's like, dang, man. I mean, that's no joke, with the water we get out here. So to see it ship out like that, we're not just mountains and waterfalls, right? And we're
hmm
mainly a desert out here.
Yeah.
We need that water.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in the Arkansas and the Colorado. Those are the main two rivers in the state, right?
And the Platts,
The
South Platte.
Plattes. That's
Yeah. Good old Dream Stream.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
It-
there's about like 5 main watershed basins in Colorado, but the Arkansas River is the largest in the state.
Gotcha.
Just some
All right.
random facts.
Right. It's good to know, man. The let's talk some juice here, Pueblo Reservoir. You know the place down there. How long before we're going to start seeing some smallies and walleye spawning?
Uh, Probably pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say. Um, I Yeah, I would say probably pretty soon. I mean, they usually have the walleye nets out for spawning this time, so I would imagine bass are here shortly after. I know a few friends of mine were telling the smaller ponds are doing pretty good below the reservoir, so it's only next is the reservoir.
What are those little bank fishing ponds that are just right down below? What's the name of those down there?
Valco,
Valco. That's right. That's right.
or like chain of lakes. Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 of them. There's some big fish in there.
And those are just shore fishing only, right? Around those, is that right?
No,
Oh,
there's 2 of them that are open to boating, kayaks, float tubes. The good ones aren't, unfortunately. Of
gotcha.
course, that's usually how that goes.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, there. I mean, it's a great place to take your kids and just, or if you don't want to lug your kayak out somewhere, just hit the banks. You know,
Yeah.
good fishing.
Yeah, I actually got reintroduced to some bank fishing by a good buddy up here, Army vet. And we went out. We just met and caught up. We hadn't chatted in forever, and got a chance to get out there and just walk along the banks a little bit. I took 2 rods with me and a pocket full of plugs, and we kind of went walking around there. And I'm like, why don't I do this more often, man?
Hmm.
That was nice. The kayak stayed in the back of the pickup, and yeah, it was like you said. It was good just to get out there and kind of hoof it around a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
That's that's good stuff.
I mean, night fishing, if you don't like at the reservoir, Pueblo Reservoir, night fishing right now, walking banks, you're gonna catch fish. So if
Wow.
you don't have a kayak, hit the banks at night.
Now, do you ever go out in a kayak at night?
Occasionally, it's usually like I'll wake up really early, maybe get out there at 4:30, because I don't have a
Gotcha.
motor, so the heck with inspections. Um,
Right.
or yeah,
Or is it
I
mainly
used to
boat
stay
if you go
late.
out?
Yeah, what's that?
Do you go out in a boat at night and do some night fishing then?
I used to, yes. We used to do all nighters. Uh,
Nice.
yeah, some fun stories. You
Good
learn a
stuff.
lot about your boat when you stay on it all night.
Right. That's a nice way to say it.
Yeah. Ooh.
That's cool. That's good stuff. Well, awesome, Lindsay. That's it's this love for the outdoors and working with the city and getting more people outdoors. This is the one of the pieces behind Eagle Claw fishing was that Eric has always maintained. Oh, there he is. Wabam! I knew we'd get him in here sooner or later. Good stuff. One of the things that I've loved and was always maybe one of the things I just held as kind of like a badge of just feeling good about it is they're interested in people like you that are good people that are true fanatics of the outdoors that represent more than social media garbage that we see out there. They've got that covered, right? They got Scott
Mhm.
Martin, they got Shaw Grigsby, they got these guys.
Professionals.
Yeah, they got the big guns. They don't need us, expecting us to put up 30,000 likes, this and that. What they're looking at on that regional side is just people that are involved in the community, and that's exactly what you represent. And that's so cool doing what you do with the city of Pueblo, getting people out there. Thank you for that work because
Yeah.
it's critical. It truly is. Good stuff. All right, what do we have here? Yes, and the fact that you're a hammer out there. Have you always? Is it just been like come second nature to you to clean house when you go out in tournaments, or did you just like, hey, I'm pretty good at this?
I mean, in all fairness, I've only collected a check twice. Everything else has been like fourth place on down, but when I collected it, it was at least first. twice. So I mean, the heck with second and third, just either first or fourth through 10th, and you know.
Yeah, but let's put this in perspective. You're talking against like 40 to 60 anglers each event out there. So, if you're in that top 10, holy crap. I mean, that's solid work. That's not, especially against the guys, you're fishing against out there. These guys are killers.
Yeah.
Ronnie, Alex, all those guys. I mean,
Paul.
Good night. Paul, yeah.
I remember what Jason said about Paul one time, how he doesn't stop till like the very end, or maybe it was Alex. One of those two, probably both of them, Paul and Alex. They don't like. I'm always like, I've caught one fish, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm good. Let's like a good size. I'm ready to quit. Let's call it a day. I'm usually done like by 10. So like those other 4 hours, it kind of kills me. I'm more of like a sprinter than a marathon.
I feel that. I've had the same kind of days. It happens.
But I just, it's kind of like a head game, and I just have to keep on fishing till the very end, because you never know when that last 5 minutes what you can catch. And that's happened the last time I did place at Pueblo. I was in the last hour, and I just made some game changers. I even loaded up my kayak and went on to this from north side to the south side, and yeah.
Change of good fortune, right?
Yeah.
Well, I came from the competing in the boat game, and that's a different animal there. Josh Deal gave me the best advice. He and I, but he's a U.S. Air Force vet. I've had him on the Dock Talk a couple times. He just ended up coming in, I think, second in the national at the Classic there.
Nice.
And he gave me some of the best advice when we were at Pickwick fishing together a couple years ago. He says, to give you an idea, it only takes 15 minutes to catch, photo, and load 5 fish. 15 minutes. So don't ever stop casting. Keep it going, keep working. Now if I'm going in and I got no fish and it's 10 minutes to go, I'm probably checking out in my head at that point. Yeah. But even then, you never know. I mean, because who knows? Maybe everybody, if you're having a hard day, maybe a lot of other people are too. So maybe 2-3 fish could mean the difference between a check and no check, or just vital points, right, towards that AOI.
Yeah, I try not to sandbag. It's
same.
But then I try not to look at the leaderboard all the time, because that could really play with your head too.
Right. It does. That whole live interaction piece can really sometimes affect your decisions, right? Yeah, that's definitely, and it's like you said. I also try not to sandbag. It's not really my thing, unless there's a really good reason. Like if 2 of us are in a cove and you can't really see me, I may or may not load them all right away. I may wait until we have some distance on us a little bit, then I might load them up. But yeah, I'm not going to hold them all day. I just don't trust it. It's like if I got them in the live well.
Yeah. Because I've loaded some poor fish and had board members reach out. It was like when I first started tournaments, and I think it was Jeremy, and he was like, hey, this fish, it's not good. It's I think my hand was covering the gill or something like that. And luckily I had another one, but if you wait till the last minute, then they can't, like, hey, do you have some, like, they can't reach out. They can't, because most tournament people or directors, they give you a chance. Yeah.
Especially when you know everybody here and they know you, and they know that if something goes through on it, it was a honest mistake type deal for the most part. So it's just a matter of trying to give you a chance to submit a better picture for sure. Yeah, that's and Dwayne has gone to great lengths to create Tourney X being an amazing platform. But I do remember a few years ago when the live well thing was having a little bit of trouble here and there, where sometimes loaded fish to the live well may or may not be there in a few hours type deal. So I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Trust issues, yeah.
Right? So, yeah. No, Tourney X is an amazing platform. They've done a great job with that. What was now? CKFC didn't always run on Tourney X. You guys ran on something different in the beginning, didn't you?
No.
No.
Everything was like handwritten. I remember.
Oh yeah.
Like a little scorecard and writing down, and then like saving your fish at the end and having to go and like get your fish verified by board members all at the end. Because there was no
submission.
yeah. So
Yeah.
and then we went to Tourney X. I don't think there was anything in between. I could be wrong, but I don't think there was.
I wasn't sure if KBF was running on Tourney X in the because I know you guys were a KBF club. I know that for the longest time you were the KBF club. But yeah,
maybe now that it's kind of, I don't know.
Right, foggy. It means we're getting older, Lindsay. That's what it means.
Like, in the early days of tournament angling.
Well, I've heard stories like Marty Hughes has been on here telling me stories like, of taking a measuring tape and a camera pictured back and them using an abacus to add up your fish or whatever.
Luckily we were all still using the hog troughs. And then we upgraded to the catch boards. So
yep. Yeah, that's having that unification and standardization across the board. That's a good deal for sure. Well, listen, awesome, Lindsay. I can't thank you enough for taking time out of an awesome weather day to come here. What's this year? What's on deck for Lindsay? Do you have as far as competition wise, fishing trips? What's this year looking like for you?
I am excited for Elkhead. For the club CKFC. We are going to Elkhead for the first year of this season, so I'm pretty excited for that because they have pike. I mean, I've never fished there. And if I chose to pre-fish it, it'd be like going over 2 mountain passes and a 5.5 hour trip for me. But, I might find some time for it.
A beautiful section of Colorado for sure.
Yeah. But, I guess just...
Are you doing the Classic this year, the All-American Kayak Classic?
No, I couldn't justify taking off 2 weeks with my new position at the city. So I was like, dang it. Yep. Adult decisions. So I think lame.
There's a lot of folks in that same boat, though. Don't feel too bad. I know a lot of folks from Colorado that last year we had quite the force that showed up. 30 some odd anglers, between the two clubs putting up there. That was awesome to see. This year, I don't think we're going to have those kind of numbers. Mm-hmm. I know we've got the TPO. We've got an event going on at the same time, so nice. we had to. My priority has switched from chasing national stuff to now TPO and just sticking with the local side where I can. So we got it there. But so as far as do you like any of the seasons with the fish more fun for you than not, or do you, if you can get out, you go?
Yeah, if I can get out, I'll go. It's just my reset from work life and everything. So. When I can go, I go.
And does your husband, does he have a kayak as well? No.
He has like a Walmart kayak that we use on the river in the summer, but no. And I mean, he did go to Missouri with me and crappie fish the whole time.
Very cool.
But no, he wants a boat.
Right.
Like, nah, I just rather get a boat.
Right. Well, still, that's awesome to to definitely have both of you with the love of the outdoors. And dude, kudos to this guy, man. First date. Hey, let's go fishing. Hell yeah, nice move, dude.
Yeah, he also, if we're just gonna go there, he proposed to me on our boat too at Blue Mesa. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's talk real quick before I let you go here. Blue Mesa. So I've driven past it last year, or was the year before. I took my wife for her birthday. We went to Ouray. Mm-hmm. And I drove past it and was like, oh my God, what is this ginormous body of water here? And should I be fishing this body of water?
Salmon fishing and
really
late summer, early fall. They school up and just vertical jigging 90 feet down. I don't know. I love to vertical jig, and it's so fun.
90 feet of water vertical jigging.
Yeah.
I'd need a razor by the time I got it brought back up.
Yeah. And it's pretty good for perch too. Did some ice fishing there and found some school perch and brought home some perch to eat up.
Nice. It's a monstrous body of water, and it's just flat out beautiful. As we drove by the thing, it's like, oh my gosh, whether you caught fish or not, just to be out on the water around, something like that. Hey, we got, so this Jason is a part of our team members, and he is, as he says, just getting into local tournament fishing. What's your best advice for a newbie?
Stay for the awards, even if you didn't do well, because usually, well, at least for Colorado CKFC, they make the top 5 tell people how they caught the fish, what they caught it on. And I've picked up so many tips just from listening to what people caught fish on that day, that time, what you were doing wrong. I feel like I've learned so much just from my other anglers, what they report back. That's
great advice. I'll piggyback on top of that. Remember also they're fishermen, so they're gonna lie.
That is true. That is true.
You just know who's talking, right?
Yes. Most of them tell you that. Well, I don't even know that. But
right.
I have taken some advice and used it the next day and done well in the next tournament. So
I think CKFC, the members there have always been really dedicated to trying to help each other, really do that, so where Jason's going to be fishing, there's definitely some higher competition level stuff that, especially if he's getting involved in Moyak, those guys are fantastic, great community at Moyak over there. Those are some hooks, man. He's going to be facing some just killers that not just, when you grow up in that neck of the woods, you can't help but, start to grow gills. Those men and women out there that fish, that's some serious stuff for sure. So Leslie, world record lake trout came out of Blue Mesa.
Mm-hmm.
No kidding. That is awesome. Another piece of advice: don't give up. That's right. Fish to the end. Get to the end there.
Mm-hmm.
And Leslie says you learn more when you don't win. Isn't that the truth? Right? Take that piece of where you can, and just everything's an opportunity. I've always said with this, see if you agree with this, Lindsay, is that if you do this enough, you start to realize you're not fishing against other anglers. You're fishing against yourself, really, at the end of the day. You can't stop or change what they're going to do.
Oh, no.
So you can only control you. So gauge on whether or not you had a good tournament or not, whether or not you executed yourself, make that don't let the results necessarily tell you whether or not you had a good day or not.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you go out there, when I was a goaltender in hockey, one of the best games I ever played, we had 9 goals scored on us. And I played out of my mind because I couldn't be in 2 places at once. So my defense was really struggling and they were leaving things. Then I've had some games where it's like I couldn't stop, anything. And they only scored 1 goal on us because I had great defense in front of me.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, that's a good thing you guys are blocking them because I was not seeing it. So, competitive fishing, very much the same. That, sometimes just deal with it, yourself. If you fished everything you had that day, cool.
You are your own worst enemy.
Isn't that the truth? Are you an overthinker like me?
Oh, yeah.
Hit a nerve.
Yeah.
Yeah, I overthink the hell out of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Guilty. Very guilty.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, again, Lindsay, thank you so very much for coming on here and cutting out time in your evening. We sincerely appreciate that. We appreciate you for all the work you do down in Pueblo there and in the entire state, and for the Colorado Kayak Fishing Club, the double work you're pulling there as well. Keep it trucking, man. That's it's important work that you're doing, and there's a lot of us out there that are damn thankful for you, for sure.
Thank you, Gene. I appreciate what you're doing too for the veterans and just the fishing community. It's a important job.
Got to find the purpose, right?
Yeah.
I get to be the monkey on the end of the paperwork. That's I'll keep it going until I can find somebody dumb like me that wants to take over. So what do we have here? A couple more of these. Jason, just start small, feeling it out. Yeah, perfect, man. That's exactly where you need to go, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Leslie agreeing with us here. And last one here, awesome show. Can't wait to see you all as well. Leslie, we miss you guys, and we're looking forward to that first run. I'll hopefully, Leslie and Lindsay, I'm going to have some fish pictures to share finally. I have tried to play with the Winter Rough Riders, and I just that's not my game. Oh my goodness, if it's freezing,
Yeah, those guys.
yeah, Collins, Flanagan, Nick Wetherill, all those boys that are getting out there.
At that point, I'm like, I'll just hit the shore.
Right. If it's the rod freezing thing that just drives me up a wall.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah, this whole dip in the rod casting, dip in
Yeah.
no. It's good to hear somebody else is like that. Awesome, Lindsay. Thank you so very much. We appreciate you, and we'll be looking forward. I'll bet you we're going to be probably ringing you up when the new show comes out here, because like I said, we're going to still keep talking fishing. We're going to still keep talking Colorado, talking outdoors, and yeah, I'd love to chat with you maybe a little bit more on the outdoors thing. And there's maybe some cool stuff we can come up with.
Yeah, most definitely. Looking forward to it, Gene. Thank you.
Awesome. You bet. You have a good evening.
Same to you.
All right, folks, we're going to wrap up the show here. We appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, you know, the likes and the follows are a huge deal for us, the subscribes. Even though we're in the final couple episodes here for the Doc Talk, those subscribes are still huge. They help us reach different sectors out there. And the new show will be piggybacking off the work that the Doc Talk has done. So it's all going to tie together out there. We thank you so very much for tuning in live and all the great comments there. If you're listening to us on the audio side of things, if you've downloaded us, we love you guys just the same. Thank you so very much. It's a huge help for us. As always, tight lines. Be safe.